breaking, very emotional. What BTS Jungkook never said. The unseen pain behind his smile. To the world, he is known as the Golden Maknae, a title that suggests perfection, effortlessness, and a man who can do anything he touches. Millions see Jungkook under the blinding lights of stadiums, commanding the stage with a confidence that seems unshakable. But before the gold, there was grit. Before the roar of the crowds, there was the silence of a terrified teenage boy. To truly honor the journey of Jeon Jungkook, we must look beyond the records and the fame. We must look at the lonely path of a child who had to grow up while the whole world was watching. The story begins not with triumph, but with a quiet departure. At only 15 years old, an age when most children are worrying about homework or video games, Jungkook left his hometown of Busan to travel to Seoul. According to various documentaries and his own admissions, he was not the confident superstar we see today. He was incredibly shy. In the early days of being a trainee, Jungkook was so introverted that he would wait until the other members in the dormitory fell asleep just so he could shower, afraid of taking up space or interacting awkwardly. The bustling city of Seoul felt massive and cold to a young boy missing his mother. He has mentioned in interviews how the smell of ramen would make him cry because it reminded him of the loneliness of those early days. His talent was undeniable, but his path was not a straight line to success. Before joining BTS, Jungkook auditioned for the popular show, Superstar K. In a moment that could have shattered a weaker spirit, he was rejected. He did not make the cut. While this rejection eventually led him to be scouted by multiple agencies, the initial sting of being told no was his first real taste of the harsh reality of the industry. He chose Big Hit Entertainment, a small company with barely any money, simply because he was inspired by RM. It was a decision made from the heart, but it led to a period of immense physical and mental struggle. During his training period in Los Angeles, Jungkook fell in love with dancing. However, this passion almost ended his career before it began. Verified reports and stories shared by the members reveal that Jungkook briefly considered giving up on becoming a K-pop idol to become a dancer instead. He was confused about his path. It took the persuasion of Jimin and the other members to convince him that his place was with them. This was a young man wrestling with his identity, unsure if he was meant for the spotlight or the background. When BTS finally debuted, the pressure on Jungkook was unique. As the youngest member, the center, and the main vocalist, the weight placed on his teenage shoulders was crushing. He had to sing perfectly, dance powerfully, and maintain the image of the golden child. Behind the scenes, the physical toll was visible. In the Burn the Stage documentary, there is a heart-stopping sequence where Jungkook collapses backstage during the Wings tour. He had pushed his body so far past its limit that he required oxygen. He was barely conscious, yet his only concern, voiced through heavy breaths, was that he had disappointed the fans. This was not just hard work. This was a young man sacrificing his physical well-being because he feared being anything less than perfect. But the deepest pain Jungkook carried was not physical. It was emotional. In one of the most touching confessions of his career, Jungkook revealed the story behind his solo song, Begin. He told his bandmates that he could endure his own pain, he could handle the starvation diets and the lack of sleep. But the one thing he could not bear was seeing his Hyungs, his older brothers in the group, suffering. He admitted that seeing them struggle was the only thing that truly broke him. For a long time, he felt helpless, a boy who could not fix the pain of the men who raised him. This empathy became his greatest strength, but also his heaviest burden. Even as BTS climbed to the absolute peak of global stardom, the shadows did not disappear, they simply changed shape. In 2019, during a period of rest, Jungkook faced a quiet crisis of self-worth. In the docu-series Break the Silence, He opened up about feeling like he was nothing without the group. He questioned if he was truly special, or if he was just lucky. He spoke about the feeling of being replaced, or forgotten if he stepped away. This is the cruel paradox of fame that Jungkook lived through. Being loved by millions, yet feeling a deep, hollow loneliness when the makeup comes off. He described feeling like his life was fragmented, a struggle between Jeon Jungkook the human and Jungkook the idol. Fans have often noticed moments where this internal battle surfaces. In his solo song Decalcomania, which was never fully released, he sang about seeing a version of himself he didn't recognize. It was a raw glimpse into the imposter syndrome that plagued him. He wondered if he truly deserved the love he was receiving. During the COVID-19 pandemic, when the tours were cancelled, Jungkook expressed a deep sense of loss. Without the stage, he felt he had lost a part of his purpose. He spent days in bed, wrestling with a lack of motivation, a feeling that many of his fans could relate to, proving that even the biggest stars are not immune to darkness. So, why does the world love Jungkook so intensely? It is not just because of his voice or his chart-topping success with his album, Golden. It is because, despite the money and the accolades, he has remained startlingly human. Verified accounts from staff members across the industry consistently describe Jungkook as the one who stays behind to help clean up wires and trash after a shoot. He is the superstar who bows 90 degrees to everyone, regardless of their rank. Fans connect with him because he refuses to hide his imperfections. He comes onto live streams in the middle of the night, not to perform, but just to fold his laundry, cook food, or even sleep. He shares his tattoos, which were once considered taboo in the industry, wearing them as a map of his life and his love for his fans. When he drove to the wrong location during a broadcast or burned his cooking, he laughed. He showed the world that it is okay to make mistakes. He taught his audience that you can be a global icon and still be a 20-something trying to figure out how to live. His journey to his recent solo success was a fight to prove his own capability to himself. Standing on the stage of the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, all alone without his 6 brothers, was a terrifying test. He later admitted to being nervous, feeling the absence of his members. But he stood his ground. He swallowed the fear and delivered a performance that made history. It was the moment the boy who hid in the showers finally accepted that he belonged in the spotlight. Looking to the future, Jungkook's dream is deceptively simple. He has stated in interviews that he wants to be a singer who can touch people's hearts with just his voice. He wants to mature into a person who is solid and unbreakable. He is no longer just running to keep up with his older brothers. He is running his own race. He is learning to rest, learning to say no, and learning that his worth is not defined by a chart position, but by the person he is when the camera is off. From the shy 15-year-old who cried because he missed his mother, to the man who conquered the world's biggest stages, Jeon Jungkook's story is a testament to the quiet power of endurance. He grew up in a glass box, watched by the world, yet he managed to keep his heart soft. He showed us that it is possible to be strong and vulnerable at the same time. As we look at him now, we do not just see a star. We see a survivor of his own doubts. We see a man who was raised by music and molded by love. And as the noise of the applause fades into the background, there is a heavy, beautiful silence. In this silence, we realize that the most golden thing about Jungkook was never his talent. It was his ability to keep going, even when he felt small. It is a quiet, enduring respect for a boy who gave his entire youth to make the world smile, and in the process, finally found his own.